And if you have a question, raise your hand and Scott will deliver the microphone to you. All right. Coach, congratulations. If you want to start with an opening comment, and then we'll start with questions for the student athletes.
Yeah, storybook for the two people to my left. I mean, for Lauren to do what she did today, and people had asked me, gotten the question a lot, what how's Lauren going to feel today? What's Lauren going to play like? And that those last few minutes had to be magical and special, and we're super proud of her, and we're super proud that she's part of our program. And Peyton has done an incredible job of waiting her time, and she's contributed to our program over her first 3 years, but she's had a special senior year. She's played unbelievably well for us. She's been a great leader, and I'm just super happy for her because she's been such a big part of why we're going to the first Sweet 16 in the history of our tournament. And fortunate to win today. Iowa's a great team. It was a great environment. It was great for the sport, great for the participants and the staffs and the fans. And it wasn't necessarily the game I envisioned. I did not think the game would be in the low 60s, and it certainly did not start out that way. It started out like it was going to be 98 to 93 or somewhere in that range. But both teams kind of settled in, and the familiarity, I think, obviously with playing each other and scrimmaging each other every year, and maybe a little bit of fatigue that second day, but just congrats to Iowa on a great year and for the program that they are, and it took everything for us to win, but I'm so proud of our group that we found a way, and can't wait to get back and get ready for whoever's next.
Thank you, Coach. Scott, far left. For the student athletes first.
Matt DiMarinis, White and Blue Review. Lauren, can you describe what was going through your mind down the stretch as you realized that offense was pretty hard to come by and you guys needed something?
Honestly, I knew that we would stay together. We've been in those situations before in close games, and we've been able to overcome it. Obviously, it was a little bit different environment playing in front of 15,000, but I'm just super proud of us for staying together and getting our offense going again.
Dargan, back left.
Dargan Souther from the Des Moines Register. Lauren, even with the environment and everything, for you personally, being so familiar with this place and having been in and out of here a lot, did that help you at all kind of just be able to digest everything today a little easier to where you could go out and, make a shot like that?
Obviously I'm pretty familiar with the arena, because I played here all of last year, but, I feel like that definitely helped. But on the flip side, there's also some nerves with that because I'm wearing, a different color this year, but I feel like it did help.
Scott
Dochterman with The Athletic. This is for both of you. What's it mean for you personally and then for the sport to play in an environment like this, a sellout where the decibel reading was over 100 for most of the game? Again, what does this mean for you personally and then for the sport?
We'll start with Lauren.
Honestly, it means a lot. Anytime there's a sold-out crowd for women's basketball is great, and obviously to have a game like that, it's super awesome on ABC, and so it meant a lot.
Yeah, as a senior, I've played in a lot of gyms. Don't really have a voice right now after that, but played in a lot of gyms in front of a lot of people. But that was the most special environment that I've ever played in by far. And to have the team that we do by my side through that is really special for our team, but also for the sport. Like she said, televised on ABC. We knew that going into it. Kind of had to calm our nerves with that, but it's really, really special for the sport.
Matt.
Lauren, what was your reaction when you saw the shot go in after you got the ball back and let it rip?
Honestly, I was just super excited. I honestly didn't know if it was going to go in. It kind of rattled off the back rim there. It wasn't super clean, but I'm just glad it fell.
Sam
McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. Congrats on the win, guys.
Thank you.
The rebounding was such a disparity today. You guys dominated on the boards. What did you guys talk about prior to the game? And can you just comment a little bit on how much you outworked them? especially in the first 3 quarters.
We'll start with Peyton.
Yeah, rebounding's a huge focus, not in just this game, but in every single game throughout the year. Obviously, Sonano is an amazing player, amazing rebounder, so we knew we had to kind of win the rebounding battle in that aspect, and that was a huge focus that we had yesterday, and then even this morning we talked about it a lot. So super proud of us for getting that done.
Yeah, just kind of echoing what Peyton said. That was one of our keys to the game, and we went out and executed. Monica Sonano is a great player, great rebounder. Same with the rest of the team, honestly. And so just the fact that we were able to get in there and get tips on the ball, too, I feel like that we did that really well. We were able to tip it out to where some of our guards can get the ball. And so that was good that we were able to follow through on that part of our game plan.
Jeff?
One for both of you while I've got it. You know, could this have possibly been scripted any better for you, Lauren and Peyton, while I've got the mic? You had a little, I don't know, little confrontation with Caitlin early in the game there. Was that just kind of a mood setter? You know, hey, we're going to be physical. Hey, we're here.
Start with Lauren.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's honestly so surreal. I feel like it hasn't really set in yet that we're going to the Sweet 16, and just the fact that it was here. You know, still kind of processing that one a little bit.
Yeah, I played against Caitlin Clark since like 7th grade, so she's an amazing player, one of the best in the country. But yeah, I mean, we wanted to let them know that we were ready to come out and be physical, and that we were just ready to go.
Zachary.
Hi, Zachary Draves, SB Nation Swish Appeal. This is for both Lauren and Peyton. What does it mean for you to be part of this team and to reach the Sweet 16 for the first time in the program's history?
Peyton, you want to take that first?
Yeah. Flan told us before the game that it's unconditional love no matter what happens. So I think that can be a statement for the whole season. This team truly loves each other unconditionally, and it has been the most fun and also the most successful year that I've ever played in basketball. So I just think that's a testament to how we have each other's backs, how close we are as teammates, and it just translates to the court.
Yeah, it means a lot. Right away from summer workouts, this team welcomed me with open arms and made me feel at home and a part of the team, and I'm just so grateful for that. And to be able to do that with them here today is just so great. You know, we've had such an awesome season, and we knew from preseason workouts that we could do something special, and it's just very rewarding to come here and see that come to fruition.
We had time for 2 more questions for the student athletes. We'll start with Susan.
Susan Harmon, Hawk Fanatic. Lauren, could you scored the last 2 baskets. First is on a drive, and then you had the 3-pointer. Can you just sort of tell us what you saw on that 3-point shot, how you came off a screen or whatever?
Sorry. Yeah, I came off of it, you know, kind of assessing my options. I knew that if they're going to switch, I could possibly have the 3-point shot because they're kind of sagging off on that. And, you know, I ended up passing it back to Tatum, and then that kind of freed me up just a little bit to be able to get the shot off.
This is for both student athletes. So Aiden Flaherty from the Creightonian. Can you just kind of talk about how, you know, obviously this was a huge win for your team, and how you guys are kind of savoring the moment, yet also keeping focus for the next one at the same time?
Lauren, you want to start?
Yeah, you know, we're going to let this one sink in a little bit, you know, celebrate this one, but once we step on the court for practice, we'll be ready to go and locked in for our next opponent.
Yeah, just to echo that, I mean, we're going to be super excited on the bus ride home for the rest of the night, but tomorrow we're locked in and we're ready to go as soon as we step on the court again for whoever our next opponent is.
We'll squeeze in one more for Matt, and then we'll go to Coach.
Yeah, for Peyton, the start of the game, I don't know, it just seemed like you were a little bit more trigger ready than normal. Like, were you seeing something different in Iowa's coverages that you felt like you had more opportunities to let it go?
We kind of talked about before the game if they had a big on me just to be shot ready, and that truly comes from my coaches and teammates instilling confidence in me before the game, and that just kind of led to me being shot ready, more shot ready than normal probably. And once you see, I mean, I missed the first one, but once you see one go down, it's confidence that builds on that for the rest of the game.
Okay, ladies, thank you so much. Congratulations. Best of luck in the next round.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach Flannery? Matt?
It just felt like every moment that went Iowa's way today, the crowd was just ready to blow the roof off this place. How did your players not let that, consume them and affect their play on the court?
I think it helped to be in the building on Friday. I mean, I know as a coach, to hear how loud it got during the Illinois State game, and for our players to be in the building, gave them a sense. I felt like if we hadn't been, maybe it's a little different. And just watching the way Illinois State, I in particular was watching the Illinois State staff to see how they communicated in game to their team and back, from team back. And we talked about that, before the game last night a little, but also this morning about just the need for more eyes to be to the bench, and which is part of what you're asking. But also, I think the expectation was that it was going to get loud. And we said I said it was a different game than I expected, but we said I was a great offensive team. They're going to go on 6-0, 8-0 runs. And, I think just having that planted in their heads a little hopefully made a difference. But also I think we have poised players. And I think we haven't been in that environment before, but we've played a really good schedule. And so I don't know. That's probably as close as I can get to capturing it.
Sam?
Sam from the World Herald. Congrats, Coach.
Thank you, Sam.
Caitlin Clark went 4 of 19 from the floor. She only went to the line 4 times. And then at the very end, when they absolutely went to her, she didn't make a shot. What did you guys do today to defend her? I think you had 3 or 4 defenders on her. Rachel had a lot of time on her. How impressed were you with your team's ability to slow her down and stop her?
Yeah, I mean, that was the game plan, was to rotate Tatum and Molly Mogensen and Rachel Saunders onto her, those 3 in particular, knowing, too, that there were going to be times in transition where other people were going to have to take her, and off switches they were going to have to take her. But we just felt like, I mean, they're good at the other spots to make back. Obviously, Sonano is a super tough cover, but they're good at the other spots to the point where, you can't overhelp because Marshall's such a good shooter, and Taiwo and Warnock, and so we just felt like our best chance was to rotate defenders on her, try to keep the ball out of her hands, especially late shot clock, make it difficult for her to catch, and then just be vertical at the rim. I mean, don't bail her out. Show your hands to the officials, and I thought they let us play at both ends. I mean, for sure, they let us play. I thought both games this weekend. The officiating was consistent in terms of, I thought they called verticality pretty well in both games. And so, yeah, it was rotate defenders and try to keep the ball, in keeping a fresher defender on her was part of the idea of trying to keep the ball out of her hands a little bit. Tatum's foul trouble early kind of put a little crink in that plan, but overall I thought that was, we kind of thought that would work, and that was as good as probably you're going to get with somebody that good.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff Linder, Cedar Rapids Gazette. A couple of questions. Iowa 62 was a season low for them. Just your thoughts on that, and after your story about the closet yesterday, we saw you went with khakis. How did that work for you?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I think both teams missed opportunities. I mean, I think like I said, I think both teams defended well. They did some things to keep us off balance by cross-matching Sonano or O'Grady on somebody they wanted to hit a 3, either Rembau or Saunders or Peyton. But and we did some good things. We worked on enough. But both teams missed opportunities. I mean, Emma missed that layup late. Tatum missed that wide open layup late. But Iowa missed a lot of pretty open threes. So I think it was familiarity, but also I don't think either team probably played as well offensively as their best. But I think pressure has something to do with that too.
Susan?
Susan Harmon. Coach, I think everybody in the building probably knew Monica was going to get the ball at the end. What sort of defense were you trying to run there?
Well, not the one that you saw when we came out. I mean, really, I mean, to be up two, obviously, I figured they'd, they're either going dead inside or they're maybe running an outside hand drive for Caitlin, maybe cut her up the middle of the floor and give her right hand to go to her outside hand. Those are probably the two things, or just go dead into the post. And Morgan got buried a little bit, but she sat on the correct shoulder. She sat on her left shoulder, and which is the shoulder that we were consistently telling our kids to sit on when she had her back to the basket. And fatigue maybe. I mean, I think, like I said, I mean some of the missed shots late, I think were the product of fatigue, but we were on the correct shoulder. We needed to offer, I felt like, more resistance to the catch, but I thought about using my last timeout maybe to when I saw their formation, but I didn't, just in case they scored and we need to. So,
Scott.
Yeah, I wanted to. What was it like to walk into an environment like this? I mean, you already know you're going to be on ABC, and then you look up and you see almost 15,000 people and have it as loud as it was. What does it mean for the program, for the sport, just for everything in general?
Yeah, it's a little surreal. I mean, I'm getting close to old, and so I've been around long enough to have metal lockers and, be in a bigger shared locker space and not have any of the bells and whistles that we currently have. So to see it at this point, that's why I told Lisa before the game, I said, gosh, this is incredible, and this is a great tribute to you and your staff and your program. And they've obviously been good for a while, but the Gustafson years, the interest in Iowa women's basketball was big, but it's obviously at a new level with Caitlin, and that's again it's a tribute to Iowa and what they've done and who and what Caitlin is, but also to the sport, to the greater sport in general. The fact that we're on television, and I told somebody that the women's game is actually in a better position to market its best players, because the men's best players are gone after a year or two, and Paige and Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston and Melissa Smith are, they're there for 4 years. So you've got a greater opportunity, I think, to grow the sport in that way than on the men's side, where, the really, really good ones are only there a year or maybe two.
Okay, we got Matt, and then we have a couple Zoom questions. Matt?
Flan, Lauren scored 9 in a row for you, 9 of your last 10. Just given the circumstances, aside from that, but also the stage and the moment, how much guts does it take to do something like that, in your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was searching a little bit. I mean, they did a good job of making post entry passes hard. They deflected a lot of passes, and we felt like we could get Emma more. That Emma would be able to score a little bit more frequently and efficiently in the post, but I thought they defended the pass pretty well. And Morgan was tired, and we'd kind of explored Molly, but then I was, so it wasn't total process of elimination, but I do feel like, because I have so much confidence in Lauren. I mean, I'll just tell you a quick story. I started playing some 6:15 ball. 6:15 morning ball during the pandemic, and this fall we would play at 6:15 on Fridays in the practice facility, and the number of times that Lauren was in there was impressive to me. And so as a coach, when you have somebody who comes into your program and you're trying to get to know them, and you see them when you walk in the gym at 6 a.m. and you see somebody who's got the shooting gun set up and putting up jumpers, that resonates, okay? And that's been in my head a lot this year. When I think I've told you, when she only took 3 shots at Nebraska in our 3rd game, I told her in front of the team, Lauren, you have to shoot more, because I know the work that she's put in. And so I'm super proud of her and super happy for her, because she's put in the work. And so that confidence that I have in her is a lot of what I've seen from her.
Okay, we have time for 2 questions on Zoom. Nancy Armour, go ahead.
Hey, Jim. Following up on that with Lauren, what do you recall about the conversations you had with her when she said that she wanted to leave Iowa and that she wanted to come to Creighton, and what did you expect you were getting when she came to Creighton?
Yeah, honestly, I relied on my assistant coaches. I think the way we operate in recruiting, they certainly have more contact with recruits in general than I do. So I think our assistant coaches had established a better, probably I had a good relationship with her, but had a better relationship with her when we recruited her out of high school. So I think they were more instrumental in selling Iowa than I was. And, we just thought that she would fit in. I mean, we lost, ironically, our leading scorer a year ago was a 2-guard from Lakeville North High School, Temi Sarda. And so we saw a correlation. I think she saw a correlation, right? She knew Temi, she knew the family, she knew Temi's experience. And so that made it, I think, much easier for her to jump when it came down to making a decision where she wanted to go after Iowa. So, I mean, I certainly credit my staff, and I think Temi's experience made an impact on the family.
Okay, last question, Lindsay Schnell.
Hey Jim, Lindsay Schnell from USA Today. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
I was curious, you called timeout, you're down 4, 1:32 to go. You drew up that play to get Lauren a layup, but how much of that timeout was you telling everyone, hey, calm down, we're okay? And was Lauren, who's been in this environment, was she saying that to her teammates?
The fourth quarter was about telling him to calm down. I don't know specifically if that timeout was, because I felt like that was more a little bit more of an X's and O's timeout, and just being, not deviating. We decided, or I decided at about the 3 to 4 minute mark that I wanted to put the ball in Lauren's hands and get Sonano switched onto her and let her go make plays. And that's kind of what we had talked about during the timeouts. And we just got we got a couple other people get a little excited, and I just wanted to repeat that's what I wanted, because I felt like she can score at all 3 levels. Like, she can, if you get the switch and get it back to her, now you got to guard her all the way up at the 3 line, and she's a good finisher at the rim. And if they want to bring help, she's a good mid-range shooter. So really, she's, in terms of what we have offensively, she is that player. Lauren was just she's a listener. She's reasonably quiet, so she wasn't telling people to calm down, but she's a good listener. Tatum and I usually have some sort of banter going, but I felt like they were all really good at listening. And you don't come back and win it if you're not still in the moment. And that's what we talked about before the game: is stay in the moment. Okay, don't take your mind back to what you could have done or should have done, and don't take it too far forward. Stay in the moment, and I felt like we did a good job of that the last few possessions, and so I thought, it's not just Lauren making the shot; it's everybody else kind of adhering to what we were trying to do.
Okay, Coach. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
We'll have Iowa in here next. Do you have the